A while back, I reviewed the film Don't Breathe, which eventually was a big success. Now let's talk about its sequel, and which only made half as much as its predecessor made. This is my review of Don't Breathe 2. Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. So, greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. My name is Dual, better known to you as the Big D, and this time around I bring to you a review of the 2021 horror thriller Don't Breathe 2, released by Screen Gems, along with Stage 6 Films and Ghost House Pictures and Bad Hombre. And this time around, it was directed by Rodos Soyages. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. I apologize. Who recently wrote this story for the previous film. Yeah, well, co-wrote the script with Fede Alvarez, who of course they retained to write this script, and has Stephen Lang back in the role of Norman Nordstrom, aka the Blind Man, along with Brendan Sexton III and Madelyn Grace in supporting roles. The film was released on August 13, 2021. The first film was such a success, talks for a sequel began after the first film, with Alvarez set to return as the film's director, when it was greenlit in January 2020, right before the pandemic even occurred. It, Sayegas replaced Alvarez as director, and Lang reprised his role. Anyway, well, unlike its predecessor, though, it got mixed reviews and made half as much, well, not half as much, half as less than its predecessor. Before I get started on my review of this, if you didn't see my review of the first Don't Breathe, I advise you to click on that card to catch it in case you might have missed it or if you'd like to see it again. Give you a few seconds. Excuse me. Okay, here we go. 8 years after the events of the first film, blind Navy SEAL veteran Norman Nordstrom lives with his 11-year-old daughter Phoenix and his Rottweiler Shadow in a Detroit suburb. Norman tells Phoenix that her birth mother died in a fire in their old house. Hernandez, Norman's only connection with society and a veteran Army Ranger, convinces Norman to let Phoenix accompany her on an errand in town to have some time out of the house. A gangster named Raylan attempts to abduct Phoenix but is scared away by Shadow. His gang follows Hernandez's van back to Norman's, where they wait for her to drop Phoenix off, then kill her when she leaves. They lure Shadow away and kill him off screen. When Norman goes outside to look for Shadow, the gang breaks in to kidnap Phoenix. A struggle ensues between Norman and his gang, and Raylan tells Phoenix that he is her real father, confirming it by showing they both have a streak of white hair. It is revealed that Phoenix's house burned down after a meth lab explosion in the basement, and Raylan had been jailed for 8 years. Norman found Phoenix unconscious in the wreckage and took her home to take the place of his dead daughter. Upon release, Raylan and saw Phoenix alive when she left flowers at her mother's memorial. Phoenix is chloroformed by a henchman, and Raylan sits his own dog to kill Norman, who traps the animal in the egg. The gang sets the house on fire and leaves with Phoenix. Norman befriends the dog as they escape together and leads him to the gang's hotel hideout. At the hotel, Raylan reveals Phoenix's real name is Tara and introduces her to her mother, who is alive but terminally ill. She explains that she triggered the explosion while cooking meth, resulting in the poisoning of her internal organs. Tara's parents had abducted her to transplant her compatible organs for Tara's mother. Due to a lack of drugs and facilities, Tara will be conscious while her heart is removed. A power blackout prevents the procedure, and Raylan's men are ambushed by Norman, who exploits the dark to pick them off one by one. Norman also kills the surgeon, and a stray gunshot kills Tara's mother. Norman gouges out Raylan's eyes and leaves him for dead. Now I give you the ending and final bit of the mid-credit scene. So I'm going to give you 5 seconds to stop this video immediately. Go to the description box below and fast forward to the time below. If you've seen this movie already, please continue. Okay, you've been warned. A badly wounded Norman confirms to Tara that her father was telling the truth. He confesses his crimes, including murder and rape, and tells her to flee to safety. Raylan appears and stabs Norman, only to be fatally stabbed by Tara. She attempts to help Norman, claiming she can save him, to which he replies she already has, before apparently succumbing to his wounds. Tara leaves and heads to a children's home she had seen earlier. She approaches a group of children playing and introduces herself as Phoenix. And that's the end of the story. But in the mid-credit scene, Raylan's dog licks Norman's fingers, which twitch slightly, indicating that he is alive. And that's it. So what did I think of Don't Breathe 2? Well, I've only seen this twice. That's a little more than its predecessor. I think the film's a pretty fairly good sequel. Well, I still like the first one a little more. But even so, I still liked the performance Stephen Lane gave us of as the blind man Norman Nordstrom. I think he was still good like before. Anyway, while this film unfortunately couldn't match up to films that came out right at the same time, well, it came out in second place, losing to Free Guy upon its release, and unfortunately, it didn't quite match up to its predecessor, making 53 million worldwide against its $15 million budget. So it didn't quite factually bomb, though. That's way less than the 157 million its predecessor had made. And the film sets Rotten score on Rotten Tomatoes mixed reviews at 44%, saying Stephen Lang remains a thrillingly imposing presence in this film, but the sequel story strains to find a sensible way forward for his character. That is true and what have you. While Metacritic has a score of 46, and Cinema Score gave this a B, down by the from the B plus its predecessor. And Post Track reports 73 of its audience members gave it a positive score, with 55 saying they would definitely recommend it. In some other reviews, The Hollywood Reporter wrote, where the first film offered genuine scares, this one is suspenseful at best, snicker-worthy at worst, and will beg viewers to recall the time Fonzie got on water skis and tried not to get eaten by a shark, which of course happened in an episode of Happy Days, but everyone should know that. The Guardian was not impressed with this, as Benjamin Lee of The Guardian said, well, did praise Lang as an effectively imposing physical presence, but described the film as an unforgivably dull piece of product that should never have breathed in the first place, and said that the antagonists were made as cartoonishly awful as possible, and their ultimate plan for the girl is so laughably repulsive that suddenly, problematically, Nordstrom is made to seem like the better option. The rap, however, liked the performances by Mr. Lang and Madelyn Grace, who played Phoenix, aka Tara. Well, I actually liked her, by the way, but they described the film as a clunky home invasion thriller. And it seems more like the filmmakers wanted to purge their creation of its wickedness than tell a story about the wickedness which makes sense. The AV Club was, however, more positive, saying that the film is more effective, maybe even a little mischievously insidious, in its attempted villain rehab when it sticks to smaller gestures, like Norman's already established affinity for cuddly canine sidekicks. RogerEbert.com's Chrissy Lemire gave us 2.5 stars, praising Lang's performance and writing the most daring feat of all in the film is its attempt to completely rehabilitate Norman. It's admirable and even unusual that a studio movie would offer such moral ambiguity in its horror hero, and that's definitely what he is here. Comparatively, but the cause for his torment lingers until the end. Yeah, that's true. Well, I appreciate continuing the story years later, but this film just didn't kind of get close to my liking of its predecessor because I thought that first film was so suspenseful and what have you. This film does have some suspenseful moments, but it lacks a little bit in some parts. But like I said, I've only seen this twice. Now they have Rock, Rockhead Banos back to do the score, which was good. Aside from Stephen Lang, we have Madelyn Grace as Phoenix and Tara. I must say, very good performance. Brendan Sexton the third plays Raylan. I thought that was pretty good. Character wasn't too bad. Am Young plays the main thug in Raylan's group, Jim Bob. Bobby Schofield plays Jim Bob's brother, Jared. And Roshi Williams plays Duke. And Christian Zagia plays Raul, who is the only other actor to reprise this role from the first film. Yeah. And there's many others and what have you. But anyway, the cast is pretty reasonable, but but a few of their characters just wasn't quite as close to as good to what I saw in the first film. But Don't Breathe 2, I didn't really hate this film. It has its issues though, its flaws, but I still found it to be pretty thrilling in some ways. It kind of lacks a little suspense, but not a whole lot. So everything I've said about Don't Breathe 2, it's not that bad of a sequel, but what I recommend it, I would say just give it a one-time watch, only if you're a hardcore completionist of this. Now there has been talks about a third film, and which case Stephen Lang confirmed that he is currently preparing to reprise his role in a third film, as it was officially announced in August of 2022, and Lang confirmed that he's currently preparing for that 2 months later. Also, filmmakers elaborate that there are plans to explore additional characters, including Norman and Rocky from the first film, but they were intentionally left open ended, while both characters got away with different illegal activities. But anyway, yeah. We don't know when it'll come, but we'll see what happens if it comes this way. But what did you think of Don't Breathe 2? Let me know in the comments section below. If you like this video, consider clicking the like button, subscribe, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Continue to help support my channel. Make it grow and make the views grow. Tell all your friends about my channel and get them to know me. Maybe they'd like to be a part of my Big D Nation. You can share my vids with your friends if you wish. That's fine with me. And next time, I'll be bringing to you another Do You Remember? And it's going to be on the show Out of Control. I am so looking forward to tackling that show, since that was part of my childhood. So, anyway, if you like this, you may want to check out my reviews of some of these films from a series that Stage 6 actually had recently been working on, and that, of course, being the Insidious franchise. In the upper left hand corner is my review of the first film in the franchise. The upper right hand corner is my review of its sequel, Insidious Chapter 2. And the bottom left hand corner is my review of the recent installment, Insidious The Red Door. And the bottom right hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe if you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc. Then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.